Hey there, David Gordon from TheaterMania here. It is Thursday, October 1st. Happy October. I can't believe we're here already. I'm here with Leila Buck and Tamilla Woodard, and we're talking about a new online theater piece called American Dreams. It is a virtual off-Broadway premiere by Working Theater in partnership with 9 theaters across the country. The run is from now until November 15th. And you'll be able to tell us more about it. Thank you for joining me today, both of you. I really appreciate your time.
Yeah, pleasure. Such a pleasure.
Tell me about the creation of American Dreams.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah.
Should I try to do the short version?
Whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Well, 4 years ago, or actually more than 4 years ago, Tamilla and I met and started talking about how we could create a piece that would engage audiences in a participatory way, in an interactive way around questions of what it means to be a citizen, immigration, and create a space for people to engage in a way that was more that went beyond sort of headlines and sound bites. And so Tamilla came up with the idea of a game show. Do you want to talk about that, or should I launch into
that's all the sentence there is to that, you know?
So once we had that in our heads, we had the great fortune to have Sophia Salguero-McGee and Queens College, the Center for Racial and Ethnic and Religious Understanding, invited us to do a workshop and gave us a little bit of money to do that and some space. And we had some wonderful actors, Ahmed Maksoud, Monty Bizel, Rasha Zamamiri, and Jens Rasmussen join us for that first round of just exploring what might this game show look like, what might some of the structures be, who might the contestants be, and started sort of just playing on our feet with the actors. I would bring in some ideas, some text, we would play with it, ask them to improvise, I would go back, make other text with that, and sort of came up with a general sense from that first workshop. And then LaGuardia Performing Arts Center gave us a wonderful opportunity with the Rough Draft Festival to develop the thing further. And so we started to hone where we needed our contestants to be from, for many reasons, in terms of the content and the intent of the play. And so we realized it needed to be 3 men. And it needed to, in order to sort of examine our one of the many themes of sort of fear, and the way that, by and large, in a general sense, people identify as male are often the targets of our fear in certain ways. So we decided we needed 3 actors. We sort of started to hone where they needed to be from and basing the actors we chose on that. And then we had Varin Ayala, Osh Ghanima, Jens Rasmussen again. And why am I blanking?
And then Raymond from CPT saw our very rough draftness and was like, hey, why don't you come to our thing? We were like, really, Raymond? Okay. And he gave us 2 weeks, 3 weeks to just go and look at the community and talk to people and then come back for production. And the whole thing developed like really, it's always been an ensemble piece. It's always been an idea that was grown and deepened by the people in the room, and is really made from the DNA of all of those folks who have been through this process with us. And I hope that, you know, as people come back and visit us, they literally see their fingerprints on it. And almost everybody identifies in some way as an immigrant, as recent ancestors as immigrants, people who were brought here, unwillingly. And so this idea of whose American dream, like what does this American dream really mean, is really pervasive throughout the piece. And that's the conversation the piece is having with the audience. What is this real American dream? To whom does it belong to? How can we be better neighbors to each other and invite people into the kind of bounty that we propose America is?
How do you go about staging a game show that's also a play? I don't know if that's a good question at all. Because that's like it's the director's job. It's your job to figure that out, regardless.
Yeah, I think there's two things to talk about. How do I go about staging a play that is now basically a live broadcast TV show?
Yeah.
You know, that was the work of this. And I said this morning to actually my husband, he's like, oh, it's like, you know, the Zoom performance. I'm like, no, Zoom is like ABC in this world, or MSNBC. It's the network. There's a broadcast. We're broadcasting through a network. It's just not ABC, you know? And so what you experience is simply like you're coming to American Dreams on the ABC network, but it's Zoom network. And what you're seeing is not what Zoom can do. It's what the broadcasters are doing, and they're doing such a tremendous job. And so what I had to learn was sort of like where our frame, you know, it's like I'm doing half a TV show and half a play at the same time. And sometimes I say to the actors, okay, this is now, pretend we're on the set of Law and Order now. Okay. So what I'm saying is what I need you to do as a person who's on your camera. And now what I'm saying is that what I need you to do as a person who's telling a story that is essentially a play and that is utilizing text and words in a really profound way that perhaps not, you know, some of our fun TV fare doesn't use. Yeah. So a big toggle, you know.
How much reimagining of this piece did you have to do when you decided, okay, we're going to do it virtually?
I would say a good amount. I mean, basically, we, you know, Tamilla was like, we can do this virtually. And I was like, okay. So we gathered our amazing team of designers and actors and did a read through of the theatrical script. And everybody sort of put in their notes to I love a Google Doc, and just said, you know, this needs to change for sound. This will not work for you know. And then I started making notes, listening to it in terms of, you know, how we needed to tell the story differently. Tamilla and I worked very intensively together on sort of collaborating to create this new version. And then adding our incredible tech and video team and designers has been key to that process. And I just want to say before, because I didn't express it as well when you asked about this, I want to make sure I also say our actors, you know, the process of creating this, Imran Sheikh has been there also since that workshop at LaGuardia, helped create the character that he plays, Usman, through many of his improvisations. Osh Ghanima created some of the language for Adil through his improvisations. Jens Rasmussen has been with us since the beginning in his input and perspectives and questions and just commitment to this thing are all over this piece in every way. So our actors have just been a big part of creating it with us. And, you know, of course I'm in charge of the words, you know, but we really do that in collaboration because I am an actor as well, sort of how that happens in the piece. And that's also been a part of this journey in translating it online, sort of learning as we go, okay, that moment we thought might work if we just translated it this way on the page, but actually when we get in front of that camera and as Tamilla's dealing with all of the tech elements and we start to learn more about that, realizing what needs to shift in order to tell the story in this form.
How did you find the partner theaters that you're working with? Were these places that you were planning on touring the show to begin with, or once you developed the online thing, you did outreach and saw who was interested?
Yeah, once we developed we started with, yes, the partners that we were going to tour to live are not actually on hold, any of the partners except for ASU that we would have gone to. So it was, you know, I have to say, in my coming on board as the co-artist director of Working Theater, it was like, oh, I have to find out how to make this work. So I literally made phone calls and pitches and said, this is great, you're gonna wanna do it. I mean, you know, they're old relationships, you know, as these things are, but people who were really like thrilled by the idea, they got to read like how the concept worked on the page. But the old fashioned way, you know, you send an email, pick up the phone, have a conversation, talk about the missions, alignments, you know, that sort of thing. And we have really incredible partners who are, I think their programming is always already adventurous. And so for them, it was like our audience will totally be up for engaging in theater in this way. And so Roundhouse and Salt Lake Acting and Marin Theater are all part of it. Hartford has a consortium of people that are all like, we're gonna band together to do this because the whole city should see this, not just our audience. So people are thinking about collaboration in this time in such a dynamic way that it is like, I'm just really like proud of our theater community for thinking like we have to work together rather than compete against each other. And that's what this whole project has been.
And I would imagine that the content of the show itself is, I mean, it was relevant before, but I'm sure after some of the things that were said at the debate the other night, it's even more relevant now.
Yeah. I mean, Leila said this awesome thing, which is like, we made a show that was slightly absurd when we made it, and now it's like, not.
Yeah, we often say we sort of wish it were less, it felt less real. But, you know, it also, we also have always said, you know, yes, it's very timely in an election season. Yes, it very much is connected to all of that. And, you know, these questions of who we decide to trust, who we decide to believe, who we want to protect, who we let in to our communities, to our nations, are things that are ongoing regardless of who is in office. These are things that are conversations about citizenship that I think we have been engaging with and will be engaging with for a long time. So it's that balance of making sure that we find what is beyond this moment and also what is of this moment. I will say, as an actor and writer, I definitely am hearing the language about voting more in the play, you know, the impact and the choices and what goes into voting. But also something Tamilla always says that I think is so, we always come back to is that the journey of the play is in the audience, is in each audience member, because it's really, yes, it's about who you choose, and it's about the journey of that choice. What are you reflecting on, realizing, recognizing, questioning, exploring as you make those decisions and realize their impact on people's lives?
And it's so cool that it's going to get to be seen so many places across the country.
Yeah.
This might be like a silly question since everybody's like working out of their living rooms, but like, is there a place that you're most excited to do this play? Like, do you have a theater in a particular state that you're like, oh yeah, I'm really excited for that state to see it?
Well, what I'm excited is for people to gather together as a community and see how they do, like they are influenced by where they are, and local politics is national politics. And so the idea of the tour, I mean, obviously, like, we're online, so you can access this anytime you want, but the idea of, like, you know, Marin or Heartbeat having the show in their week of performances is that audience is talking with each other about what it means to be a citizen, you know, rather in that we can actually think about ourselves as a community and a strong community of people who can move the needle. You know, it's like church, right? We all get together and like, well, some of us, you know, come together and, you know, you sing that song, that you spend those 2 hours with each other. Yeah. You're reminded that you belong inside of a strong community of people that helps each other move forward in a positive way. And that's what the theater is supposed to do.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people are missing now too. Sorry for interrupting.
No, yeah. I was like, even if you don't go to church, if you go to a different kind of religious spot or don't go anywhere for that.
Yeah.
It is and that is the thing that has been hitting us even with these early performances is that, you know, if we were performing at ASU, which would be amazing, and I'm very sad we didn't get to do that live, of course, and it would have been an audience, obviously, predominantly who live in Arizona, presumably, or at least near ASU. Whereas that show, yes, there were folks there from the ASU audience, and there were also people from all over the country. So you're actually having a nationwide gathering, which is something that in some ways is only possible in this way online. So that is one thing that's been exciting about this online version, is to recognize there are people engaging with each other that would not likely be in the same physical room together.
Yeah. Ladies, I appreciate your time. I'm just looking to pull up the, where can people find American Dreams if they're curious?
You can go to Working Theater's website.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to AmericanDreamsThePlay.com website, and that you'll find all of the theaters listed there and all of the times, so that you can find a time zone that works best for you to see it in, because it's shown in the 7 o'clock curtain of the local theater.
I love that you guys are doing time zone stuff too, because there's so much theater being made now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much theater being made now that's not. That's like one time zone. It's like I don't want to watch a show at midnight in England.
Yes, we are definitely doing that.
Yeah.
And you can find all that at AmericanDreamsPlay.com. That's the one, AmericanDreamsPlay.com.
Yeah.
Put it up on screen. Hang on, I'm gonna put it up on screen.
You find your time.
Yeah. And working through it, and I'll put in, and of course, because I would be remiss, workingtheater.org. Workingtheater.org. Yeah.
Workingtheater.org. My mouse. It's the one time I need my mouse to work well, and it's actually not. AmericanDreamsPlay.com.
And workingtheater.org.
And workingtheater.org. Thank you both for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing the play.
We're looking forward to having you.
Yeah. Have a great run.
Can't wait to have you in the audience.
Thank you.
Be well. See you soon.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.